series of lessons. And of course, that's presented by me. And that last thing there was written in the blood of the computer gremlins that were fighting against me, and I slew them all. Let's move on. What we're looking at today is types of questions. And the first one here is lower order questions. Now, these are the easy ones. If you remember our lesson of Tuesday, we were looking at analyzing questions. The lower order questions usually do not require analysis. You simply find the answer for them in the text. There it says, you're going to find it clearly stated in the text. There are usually few problems with these particular types of questions. Let's take a look at a few examples. You will see what I mean. Absolutely straightforward. What was the name of the goalkeeper? And all you do is you look at the text and his name or her name will be there somewhere. So that's merely a question of finding it. Basic, straightforward. Another one. There you have it. How many people were present at the meeting? Now, that could be slightly tricky if you've actually got to count the number of people. But I mean, let's just say, for example, there were 5 people who were named as being there. All you do is you count the number of names, and that's it. You know how many people then were present. Sometimes it'll be stated directly, there were 33 people present on the day when this was, etc., etc. Perfectly straightforward. You should not struggle with that. This one, another one, straightforward. Name the 3 top scoring cricketers of all time. Now, I guarantee not many people listening to this will know those names offhand. I mean, I don't know those names offhand, but it's a wonderful example of a really straightforward question, because their names will be identifiable in the text. And then, again, very straightforward. Give 2 examples of passenger jets. The only difference there is, let's say, for example, the text is about jets in general, and they're talking about cargo jets and military jets and passenger jets. Then the only thing there is you must be careful that you are identifying passenger jets as opposed to other stuff. So it's not difficult, but this one, well, it could present just a slight problem or two if you are careless. The key word there is passenger jets. Let's move on to our next one. And here we are on, let me just get this, the middle order questions. Now, these ones are, I put there, not so easy, but certainly not difficult. So let's take a look at a few examples, because you'll see here it's described as questions that you need to interact with the text and to interpret it. Okay, you're going to go more deeply into the text at this point. Very often, these middle order questions cannot be answered unless you have read the text in full. Remember that, please, when we looked at our first presentation, always read the complete text. Don't try to skip it and just go straight to the answers. Right, take a look at this one. And you've got here, compare the actions of Vusi with those of Refilwe. Now, I have no idea who Vusi is, and I have no idea of Refilwe, who Refilwe is, and I have no idea what they did, what the pair of them did. But it's a question where you've got to sort of go into detail. Remember the rule: when you are doing a comparison, it must be looking at similarities and differences. So you're going to have to, if you look at the mark allocation there, you're going to have to pick out one similarity and one difference. You can say something like, they were both trying to help the people in trouble, but Vusi was doing it with his hands, and Refilwe was using some equipment, something like that. Now, this is starting to get more tricky because here you've got to interpret actions. And it says there, what does this tell you about Andrew's character? Bit of interpretation required there because you've got to look at what he did or what he was wearing or whatever it is that comes up in the text. And then you have to deduce from that meaningful aspects of Andrew's character. Two of them. And then we go, what motivated William to take part in the debate? It's an interesting question, that, because this implies that initially he didn't want to take part. And what was it that changed his mind? Very interesting. Oh, this is a lovely one. What do you think would have happened if the police had not arrived then? This is a fabulous question to answer, because as long as your question is based logically on what happened before in the text, you can reply with a very broad spectrum of answers. And there you see it's a 3-mark question. So the answer must be fairly detailed. Okay, and let's look finally at our higher order questions. Now, oh, sorry, one thing I forgot to mention. Please note, higher order 20%. I'm going to go back here for a second. I don't normally do this, but the middle order and the lower order are both 40% of the questions each. So 80% of the questions that you're going to see are lower or middle order questions. In other words, there's not that much that's going to really make it challenging for you to answer this. Okay, so let's go back to our higher order questions. And it assesses, it says here, your overall understanding of the text, so you can give your opinion on it. That implies the text as a whole. Now, let's give you just 1 or 2 examples. There you've got between Vusi and Raphael, where who do you think produced the best argument in the debate? Justify your answer. Now, you could choose either person, and the only thing is that you must explain why you thought that particular person produced the best argument. Not difficult, just a bit of thought required, time consuming. And there we are. Do you think that the politician succeeded in his promise to lower poverty? And then once again, reasons for your answer. You can say yes or no, but remember, you don't get any marks for yes or no. All the marks are all for the justification. And then finally, this one is quite tricky. Discuss whether the disaster could have been prevented. So you've got to look at all the things that happened before the disaster happened. I don't know if it was a train derailment or a bus accident or something like that, but or a collapse of a dam, we don't know. But you've got to look up to what happened, what led up to it happening, and what could have been changed. And there we are, your 3 levels of questions. And perfectly straightforward. I've prepared a list of sample questions for you now to tackle, and it's called a simple task. Today, I must apologize, I was only able to produce 7 of them, but give this a try and you'll see probably you're going to enjoy these questions quite a lot. Thank you. This was a pleasure having you listening.